Next morning, when I went to say goodbye, and much to my own surprise, I told Abdul Baha that in fact I was leaving on the Sphinx for Marseille later on that same day. He took this for granted and then requested me to carry out a commission for him on reaching Paris. He said that there I should meet a certain Persian student who was nearly blind, and he gave me £10 in gold to pay his fare to Alexandria. Traveling was much cheaper in those days. I was to tell this young man, whose name was Tamandun ul Mulk, to lose no time and to present himself to his master as soon as he arrived. I accepted this commission with very bad grace because it seemed a poor reason for upsetting all my previous plans. When I asked for the student's address in Paris, I was told that this was unknown, but that a way would be found for bringing me into contact with him. On reaching Paris, I went to the Persian consulate only to find that Tamandun ul Mulk was unknown to the officials there. I then visited the students' quarter on the left bank of the Seine and spent the whole day there and elsewhere in a task that yielded no results whatever. When one's mind is fearful or depressed, no interior guidance can be expected. This I have found to be true on many occasions throughout my life. In the present instance, I gave up the search and set out for the Gare du Nord, where my luggage was already deposited in readiness for the return to England. En route, I crossed the Seine by the Pont Royal. Happening to look across the bridge to the opposite pavement, I saw, among a crowd of pedestrians, a young man, evidently of Eastern origin, who was using a stick to tap his way along. I dodged through the traffic and accosted him. In reply to my question, he told me he was of Persian origin. I then inquired whether by chance he knew a certain Tamandun ul Mulk. In surprise, he replies, "C'est moi," adding that he had only arrived in Paris from Vienna that very morning. In a Vienna clinic, 3 serious operations on his eyes had been undertaken, but the results were negative, and he had been told by the surgeon that his sight could not be saved. I then gave Abdul Baha's message and the £10 for his ticket to Alexandria. To watch the profound joy on his face was more than sufficient reward for all my previous disappointments, including the abandonment of my European tour. Tamandun duly reached Alexandria and visited his master at once. Those present told me later that Abdul Baha poured a few drops of attar of roses into a glass of water. He then gave the youth his blessing whilst anointing his eyes with the water in question. Immediately full sight was restored, and when I met Tamandun some years later, he was still enjoying perfect vision. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe.